Microsoft Surface Pro. What you should know or what you maybe don't know. Coming up next. So stay tuned. Hey guys, this is Darren with Everyman Tech. And if this is your first time checking out this channel, this is where you'll find your high quality tech reviews and how-to videos. So comment, like, and of course subscribe to be notified of all new content. And now let's get on to what we're going to be talking about today. That's right, we're going to be talking about the Surface Pro by Microsoft. And for those who don't know what that Surface Pro is, well, we're going to get into things that you may not know, and for a lot of you, things that you may already know. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about it together, so stay tuned. So, starting in February 9th of 2013, Microsoft unveiled their version of a laptop / tablet, or as we all know, a 2-in-1 for short. And it was very promising, and to this day, it is still one of Microsoft's best-selling products on the market. Now, back when we came out with the first generation Microsoft Surface Pro 1, now that thing was amazing. And one thing you'll note about it was it was really another computer, if you will, that they just made into a versatile 2-in-1 device. And even all the way up to 2019 with the new edition of the Surface Pro 7, the quality, the mindset, and all the high-pack features and tech came along with it. So just beginning to talking about how it all started, let's first gonna get into some of the notable things like how it looks and the pricing. Now first, for the pricing, you can start the new Surface Pro 7. It will start out for $749, and of course that's at the base model with the i3 CPU, and you can go all the way up to an i7. And good to note that the Intel, all options, the i3, i5, and i7 come with the 10th generation Intel chip. So that's some good things to know. But we'll get more into the tech specs and brush up on that a little later on in the video. Now, some of the main thing you'll notice is just the overall design features. And I get into the features because that's what made the Surface Pro, in my opinion, one of the best things to buy as far as Microsoft and on the Windows platform. Now you'll notice that this screen, and even the ones from all the way from the 1 all the way up to the 7, they all come within 10 to 12 inches screen space, and they all have the same design aspect as far as how they look, even with the new one. The design from the 1st to the 7th Surface Pro, they kind of really kept the same platform but added cute little features. Now the main thing you'll notice is the fact that it comes in 2 colors. It was silver, and they also now with the 7 has a black version. So you have that all classic silver and you have the new black. And you have the speakers along the outside within the grill, and you'll see the speakers built in a very convenient and architectural design. The fact that the sound is unlike maybe the iPad Pro or any other on the Apple line, that the speakers are actually on the top, and so that means that your volume, depending how you have it configured, and with the stand, you'll actually be able to hit that sound coming straight up. But let's just brush up on some of the other aspects. Of course, it's touchscreen, and again, it's a 10 and 12-inch screen space, and you also have the magnetic pen holder on the side, or you can, if you don't have the Type-C keyboard cover, but you also have that pen space that's magnetic you put on the side, and we'll talk more about the accessories as well. But just going back to the design aspect of the tablet itself, you have the kickstand, of course, in the back, and you also have those ports. Now, it was different between the Surface Pro 7 versus the first Surface Pro, even all the way up from the 1, 2, 3, etc. That now that the Surface Pro 7, they will now include something awesome, which was the USB-C along with the already built-in USB-A USB port. So that means now you have double the connectivity. So if you have an iPhone or any other device that takes a USB-C charging, you will be able to do that through your Surface Pro, along with connecting another USB device, regular, like maybe a wired mouse if you don't have a wireless, or even if you have a wireless, you have to have the USB dongle attached to it for the wireless connectivity. You also have that, and you also have your ambient light, your lighting, your front facing camera, which offers the privacy lighting, and of course the regular lighting for video and photos. And you also have the magnetic charger, or the magnetic charging on the side, as with all the other previous generations. And you'll also notice too that on the bottom you have another magnetic bezel, which is compatible with the Type-C cover, which we'll talk more about that when we'll talk about more of the available accessories that comes with it. But all in all, you'll notice that the device is pretty well built, and they carried the same design from the first generation to all the way to this new 7th one they have, and the design stayed the same. So it's really, they really pretty much kept to the same design, mainly because if it's not broke, don't fix it. And that's exactly what the approach Microsoft took when they kept the 7th, along with the other generations that they had with the 1st, and so on and so on and so forth. So now that we got most of the design aspects out the way, now we're going to get more into the tech specs. Before the tech specs of this device, now we're not talking about just maybe one particular Surface Pro, but we're very much going to talk about it as a whole. So, but just for the sake of just understanding where they came from to where they're going as far as Microsoft and the development, we're going to talk about just some of the key tech specs that I believe that you guys should definitely know about if you don't already know. Now, just going back to, again, the CPU, from since the first generation of the Microsoft Surface Pro, they actually still had the built-in i3, i5, and i7. Now they, even to 2019 with the development of the Surface Pro 7, they still kept them same CPU chips, and for good reason. Even with a lot of the laptops, a lot of low budget laptops, even some of the higher end budget laptops. I'm not talking about the i9, which, you know, the price of those laptops will be in the thousands. But as far as the good i3, i5, and i7, a lot of your budget laptops even are built with those CPU chips embedded in them, which are still good for regular multi-dig tasking and even some video editing and so on and so forth. And with those older versions, even when they get upgraded to the 10th generation, they was able to play that good delicate balance of having something powerful enough for the everyday user, no matter what type of task you're doing, but they also kept it in mind as far as terms of the budget. So the budget was definitely something that they really kept in mind. And with those options of having the i3, i5, and i7, you can definitely know that even with the base price of $749, starting out with the i3, you definitely are going to get something that's definitely, you know, affordable. And in these times, affordability is of the utmost important. Now, going from the chip standpoint, now we're going to talk about the RAM. Now, with that budget friendly at this base model price of $749, and we're talking about now in terms of the Surface Pro 7, like again, but the chips, and as far as the RAM, the options are still the same. Even if you say you want to order maybe the 3, which I still have the 3, and I can tell you right now from my personal use that the 3 is awesome. Now the RAM options are the regular, like any other laptop. You have your 8 gigabytes starting out, you have the 4, and you also have the 16. You know, with 8 gigs, even on the regular standard laptop, even on an Apple side with a MacBook, 8 gigs for a regular user who's just anybody who just surfs the web, or, you know, just doing regular work or little light duty tasks, not, you know, and also with the availability of cloud storage and all those different options that you have as far as storage or external storage with a, you know, external hard drive, or maybe a thumb drive, you know, or even a micro SD chip, which that has that in there as well. You can definitely, you know, still have those options, go to 8 gig and still, you know, keep the price down as far as when you pricing it out, when you're building it online, and you also gonna be able to have something really affordable. So that's something you definitely want to keep in mind. Now, for the storage. Now, even with their first generation, and even in comparison to Apple's iPad Pro, the newest version, they actually was on point and went toe to toe with Apple as far as having their storage. So their base storage starts at the hard drive size, or I'm sorry, the SSD will start at 128, go up to 256. Then if you want more, go to 512. Then of course you can go all out and level up with the 1 terabyte hard drive. And again, these memory sizes are also available in comparison to the Apple iPad Pro. So yeah, no surprise there that, you know, you have to, Microsoft, Apple, you know, they have to stay toe to toe with each other, and they did just that as far as the memory options. And again, just going along with those 4 choices, which even with the lowest at the 128 gigabytes memory size, you definitely have way more than enough storage if you're just a regular user. But of course, if you do a lot of your gaming, or you want to really level up, you do some high-end projects, art, music, you need extra file storage size for any reason or so forth. So you got a business, or you just don't want to, you just want to have that extra comfortability to know that you have enough storage on your device. You can definitely go over to 1 terabyte again, but just keep in mind that the pricing and the storage size, along with the CPU chip, along with the RAM, of course, is all going to come into play as far as that budget. So definitely keep that in mind. And like I always say in my other videos, I'm gonna say it again, definitely buy it for what you need it for, and definitely make sure that you stay on par. Now we can go more into the heavier tech specs, but just for the sake of time, and you know, just want to make sure you drive home the more important features that you guys should know, like the camera and all that stuff. I'll also have that listed in the video, so you can definitely take a look at that as we go further along, so help you make an educated decision. So now we're going to talk about some of the major uses of the Surface Pro that you may or may not have known next. All right, so you're asking yourself, okay, Mr. Everyman Tech, why should I even consider a Surface Pro 7 when they got the new iPad or the iPad Pro out, right? I don't know. It's a question that I ask myself, and I'm sure it's a question that everybody asks. And I'm gonna give you my reasons why. I'm definitely gonna tell you what one major feature that this has over the Apple. And now in terms of professional in the business use, what you may or may not know is the fact that when they first came out with the Surface Pro, which was built on the Windows 8 platform, it actually came with this Windows 8 Pro edition. Now, why is that important? Because just like a regular desktop from Windows, or even a laptop from Windows in the business world, a lot of the businesses, even government or private, uses something called BitLocker, which is their protection in comparison to Apple security. Okay, and that was definitely something very important. And also was very important with the Surface Pro, they added a feature not just with BitLocker security for authentication use, but they also had this thing was built, and it was built for configuring on a network on Active Directory. And I know this is way far left from what we're talking about as far as just the Surface Pro, but for those who don't know, the Active Directory in the IT world is pretty much where you as an administrator can control accounts, your passwords, the user account. So nobody can log on to a computer, no matter what computer it is, unless you had your information in Active Directory. And these Surface Pros were designed for just that in the business world. So that way they can add these to the network, and you can do what you need to do, and they can serve as a mobile computer for a lot of people who travel, or a lot of people who have like meetings, especially the higher executives and so on and so forth. A lot of those people who travel a lot wanted the portable option, and the Surface Pro was just that. Now, unfortunately, you know, of course, of pricing, that Windows computers are definitely pushed more in the business world than Apple. But not to get me wrong, a lot of Apple devices, iPads, MacBooks, iMacs, so on and so forth, are used as well, but those are only used mainly for a lot of people who do web design, not anything with audio, any type of illustrations with magazines, photography, things of that nature. But mostly those computers are used for like the artists or people who are doing web and heavy application use stuff that requires the graphic power and of course the software that's available for special Photoshop editing and things like that. But no, you can do that with Windows too, but my Mac users, my Apple users know what I'm talking about as far as the stuff they can get with the Apple versus the Windows. Now the Windows, when they came with the Surface Pro, serve that same purpose, was just like the desktops of any Windows, like Dell's or HP's or what have you, and some of the laptops or desktops. The Surface Pros took the same thing, and it was really easy to add to Active Directory because they came with that Windows Pro Edition features. And also, I think it's good to mention too that along with Active Directory and a lot of the software used within Microsoft, these Surface Pros were actually configured to use for remote desktop support. So just as an IT specialist or anybody, even the private or government, that they can use these Surface Pros and they can actually remote into them like they would do any other regular Windows computer. And with the Surface Pro, made it very, very easy to do that. So that's one of the major upsides. And for those who don't know too, just away from that, that's the main features. But also, what Windows with this Microsoft Surface Pro has over the Apple is mainly for the fact that they really didn't, that the platforms. Now with Apple, you have for iPad, you have the iPad OS. Mac, you have Mac OS. So on and so forth. But in contrast to that, you have just regular Windows software that takes the same update. So when the update is ready for your desktop or your laptop, 9 out of 10, you need the same update for your Surface Pro. They run on the same platform and they operate the same way. And why is that beneficial? It's beneficial because a lot of the users who are maybe used to working with Windows computers, when they got the Surface Pro, it was not really a big learning curve. So the OS for it was not different, unlike Apple, which the Mac, iPad OS, iOS for your cell phone, so on and so forth, could be a little different because they all operate differently based on their own platform. And for a lot of those regular users who are not familiar with that, when they get the Surface Pro, and I'm not even talking about the Surface Pro 7, but even from the Surface Pro 1 all the way up to the 7, you will definitely see that it was definitely not a big learning curve, because mostly everybody grew up with Windows. And if you're used to your Windows on your desktop, at work, at home, or your laptop, 9 out of 10, I'm sure that you'll be used to the Surface Pro device because it operates pretty much on the same exact platform. There are 3 different OSs, just one. Windows 10 is Windows 10 across the board. Your File Explorer is there. You have your same screen setup, and of course, we have everything linked to your profile, so you can merge your contacts, you can merge your Chrome browsers, depending on what software you're using. Once you log in, it's going to mimic your stuff at home. And especially with the Microsoft, with the Windows, I'm so used to Apple. That's not Safari. Come on, think. Oh yeah, with the new Microsoft Edge, Windows 10 version of Internet Explorer. Sorry, you will definitely see that it makes it so easy. Once you sign in, it will actually merge your stuff from your other computers onto that. So, bam, cloud is amazing, right? That's what I say. So, that's just one of the main features that you definitely want that you may not have known, and that the regular user may not have even thought about. So, that's definitely something great. And also too, your gaming. Now, Apple, as great as Apple computers are, everybody knows that most of your games are built off of the Windows OS. So if you're a heavy gamer and you're just looking for something compatible, something so you can do, something we can use, and instead of having a gaming laptop, or you just want something, you know, portable, that depending on how you spec out your Windows with your Microsoft Surface Pro, you will definitely be able to have that same capacity to game and do like you would on your regular laptop or your desktop computer, again, without having to change the whole face of how your desktop looks and your whole OS, because it's all built on the same thing. And again, like I said, there is a lot, so we're not going to talk about all of them, but of course, for your review, I'll have those listed in the video. You can actually scroll and take a look at them as we scroll through them, and you can definitely screenshot or make note of what you want, what you might consider. And of course, these are also located on Microsoft.com's website, which you'll have everything listed there. So I won't talk your head off about every single one, but some of the notable accessories that you will want to consider when buying your Surface Pro would definitely, one would be the wireless mouse, the Surface mouse, which is wireless, and they have different types of ergonomic mouses, just the regular click mouses, whatever one you can want to consider. Just take a look, and I'll have the buying instructions listed in the description. So just some basic mice that you should definitely just want to level up, and they don't break the bank at all. They're not like high-end gaming Logitech, Corsair, or you know, Razer mouses, or SteelSeries, or what have you. But of course, you can definitely go that route if you want a gaming mouse. But if you just want a really good mouse to go along with your Surface Pro, just a regular Microsoft Surface or ergonomic, or just a regular click mouse will do just that. And of course, we're gonna go back to the most important accessory that you need to have if you really want to experience the tablet, to, if you want to call it laptop, will be the Type-C cover case. Now, this case is not only, of course, provides protection, but that being magnetic, it also provides an awesome keyboard. And just the one keyboard that I use on mine, I can tell you right now that it is a great typing experience. Now, it's not a mechanical keyboard, but it teeters the line between membrane and mechanical, and it's kind of strange, but it's like something that you definitely have to test out and feel for yourself to see what I'm talking about. And they doesn't have the number pad on it, but if you just look at a regular 60% gaming keyboard, that's pretty much what you kind of have on this Surface Pro. And a lot of things too that you want to make a note of, that is backlit, and backlit is amazing. As I can't tell you how often that I'm looking at stuff on content or videos, or just looking at, just surfing, typing up some notes or anything like that at night, and while I'm in the bed, and that backlit keyboard makes things easier. You don't have to have on a night light, you don't have to disturb the person you might be sleeping next to you. That backlit keyboard, and you definitely have 3 settings, so you make it a little dimmer depending on what your brightness level or your comfortability. You definitely have those options with the backlit keyboard. And again, it's magnetic, so there's no trying to figure out how it goes. You don't have to worry about if somebody grabs it by mistake or knocks it. It's just going to magnetically fall off. It's not going to drag the Surface Pro along with it. Thank you, because yes, it's just you know, accidents do happen, and if you have kids, something's bound to happen. So yeah, the magnetic keyboard definitely does help. And also you have, of course, you have other external keyboards you can use. To recommend or not recommend, this one's an easy decision. If you're a huge Windows fan, or even if you're not, maybe you're a whole heavy Apple fan, but like myself, I have to have a Windows device on board, because one, I don't want to forget how to use one, and two, just certain things I like to use with my Windows versus my Apple. And so yes, this is an easy recommendation that I do recommend that you buy it. And even in this case, you only have to buy the 7. I can say I have a Surface Pro 3, and I can use that easily, and it does wonders. Everything, the software that I normally use for my Apple, like especially with Adobe, I could run it on my Windows Surface Pro 3. And so I definitely recommend it for the fact that, one, is very portable, 2, user friendly, as far as that the OS does not change from the laptop that you may have to your desktop. Is all user friendly, and the learning curve is that much smaller versus learning the different Mac OS and iPad OS. Then you got iOS for your phone, and you know, especially for people who are not familiar with the Apple and the Apple ecosystem, they're like, what the heck are you talking about? Yeah, so with the Windows, learning curve is like that. Chances are you use Windows at work, you'll be able to use a Surface Pro with no problem. File Explorer is File Explorer, no matter what you're looking at. And also, too, with the available of the accessories that you get, which is a ton, you definitely in the money there. That you have a whole lot of options to choose from, and that's just Microsoft. Now, I'm even talking about some of the third-party companies and what they make for it as well. So you have that as well. And also, too, just for the sake of having something with a lot of options, something was affordable, and two. Now, I will say that the Surface Pro compared to Apple, now, my opinion, Surface Pro, it does have a lot of accessories, but the ecosystem as far as Apple is way better. As far as having the whole phone, computer, home smart system, and also, of course, like your earbuds and things of that nature. The whole ecosystem for Apple is way more put together versus Windows. So guys, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video as we talked about the Surface Pro and the history of it, all the way up to the 2019 version of the Surface Pro 7, which is available. And definitely, if you're looking for a new Surface Pro, if you're new to it, just go purchase it. You will not be disappointed. Again, my name is Darren, it's Everyman Tech. Definitely please subscribe, like, and comment on this video, and let me know in the chat. Just let me know if you have a Surface Pro, if you do, which version are you using, or if you don't, which version are you interested in buying and why. I'm curious to know, and just to see how this will greatly impact your life and how you will enjoy it. Because from my opinion, I'm telling you right now that you will, if you do decide to buy one or even using one. So again, this is Darren with Everyman Tech. Definitely comment, like, and subscribe again. And thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.